Okay, so here we are back on the 1968 Ambassador Restoration Project, and we're getting into the installation portion of the project, and I wanted to do a little tutorial on that, and then a little bit on the installation of the aluminum skin that we're going to be installing. So we have two layers of this Reflectex that are cut into strips and then mounted to the surface of the outside, and that gives us a spacer basically for the Reflectex that's going to go on the inside. It increases the R value up to R6, and then you have another space on the other side which could potentially increase it up to like 7 or 8, which is actually better than foam. But I wanted to talk a little bit about foam too. We used foam on our last camper, and it's great. It's a little bit more prep. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's very rigid. And it was a shorter camper. It was a Bambi, and this is a 29-footer. And we've read a lot in the blogs about foam not being great for Airstreams, but my experience is that foam's fine with a smaller camper. But I do understand how people are talking about how foam could not be a good thing for these longer campers because they flex a lot more. And that foam would be too rigid, and it would become an issue where it would start to break up, lose R value or structure, and just not be as good as it was when it was first installed. So the Reflectex is the next option in that scenario. This being 29 feet long and having done the 16-footer in foam, we decided that we're going to do this one in Reflectex, which has been interesting. It's a lot more labor intensive. It's less cost in materials, but it definitely takes a lot more time. So all these strips have to be installed between every cell, and then we opted to actually foam around each one rather than some of the sections we have used Tyvek tape to basically seal some of the gaps and stuff, but mostly we use foam around each section of the Reflectex, and it seems like it locks it in pretty well from both sides, kind of fills the gaps right up to the edge, and I think this will be flexible enough that it shouldn't be an issue that we're using urethane foam. Anyways, so that's kind of where I'm at on this section of it. So you can see how we've done this. Spacers for this section, and then this will be installed on top of that, and then we'll run the foam, the expanding foam or great stuff all the way around the edge to kind of seal it up and solidify the whole section. That works pretty good. And then the other thing that we're starting to do now is we're also starting to put in this headliner interior shell section, which I'll back up so you can see that. And we've started riveting that in, and it's raw aluminum. It doesn't have any clear coat or anything on it, so I'm handling everything with gloves on and using a hat when I install it so I can push with my head and not leave grease marks all over the stuff, because it is raw aluminum, so it's going to leave a mark. It's very soft. You just have to be careful when you're installing it that you don't scratch it all up, and how you handle it. When we handle it, we use a piece of paper between each sheet of aluminum, and I have a cutting table here set up in the middle of the Airstream, as you can see, to facilitate each piece being processed into the interior. And basically we're doing a 3-inch regular pop rivet pattern on the inside, and we're doing it at every rib. It will be riveted through. You can see how we lap. These are 4x8 sheets, and then we're using these, what are commonly referred to in the construction industry as deadmen, to hold the pieces in place. And I'm using this foam, which is nice and springy, on the floor to really lock the deadmen in against the top, and then nice clean chamois cloths against the actual surface of the aluminum to keep it nice and clean. That's kind of just good process to keep everything clean and good and not scratch. Like, you just have to be careful about scratching it because it's very, very soft. And then another little trick is this, using a Cleco rivet temporary rivet. We use these to place the sheets as we go. But then we have this little ruler with holes in it. And basically Cleco rivet that to the ceiling, and then you can drill through these holes. And this particular ruler is set up with different holes, so we're doing a 3-hole pattern. We have these holes blocked out so you don't accidentally ever drill those holes. And you Cleco rivet to the roof, and then you come through, space it nice and even along this margin, and then, hang on, my phone's not focusing. And then basically drill through these holes to make your spots. So you don't have to, I used to just draw this all out, and then you have to remove it, and then the remover leaves some residue. So this is a really nice, easy way to do it without having to mark on the actual aluminum. And it ends up being really nice and even and fairly easy. And then you just kind of, you leave, when you do your pop rivets, you do every one except for the last one, and then you just move the ruler down to that, Cleco rivet it on, and then that's it. So that's where we're at on the insulation and installation of the interior skin. So I think that's about it. I'll do another one in about a month. All right, thanks. Bye.